Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about the women who are reshaping our world. Coming up in the program, In Search of a Sugar Daddy, how a controversial website allows young women to meet rich older boyfriends. But some here in France argue it's a form of prostitution. Also, the taboo of being childless. The number of women in their 40s with no children is now one of the fastest growing demographics in the West. And why ambition is still a dirty word for some. In the last few years, a number of sugar daddy dating sites have suddenly emerged, allowing young women to openly seek rich and older boyfriends. In particular, for those struggling with student debts, it's an attractive option. Starting in the United States, similar websites have now popped up elsewhere, including Britain and France. But the French website has found itself coming under fire, with a women's group filing legal proceedings following accusations it's a thinly disguised prostitution racket.
It's not your everyday dating site. SugarDaddy.fr offers to connect pretty young women with older, wealthy men who have money to spare and are ready to pay. It's a concept that has some activists worried. A group in France that fights against prostitution and pimping has even taken legal action against the website. Increasingly, the women who log in are like 26-year-old law student Jessica, who needs help paying her tuition and bills. She's often treated to expensive dinners and gifts as well as monetary compensation, and clients in turn sometimes hope to take things further.
They might say, I'm already giving you 500 euros. If you'd like to spend the night with me, I'll give you, say, 400 more. It could go up to 1,000 euros.
But Jessica says even when the relationship turns sexual, what she does is not the same as prostitution.
Unlike a prostitute, I take my time. I have dinner with the person, get to know him. I can say, no, I don't want to spend the night with you. If I'm not comfortable, I can leave, never see the person again. Nothing will have happened, but in the end, I'm still compensated.
Sites like this have become more and more prevalent, with many women not shy about what they want. I'd like to meet a rich man, a man with the means to spoil and pamper me. I love shopping, stiletto heels, and beautiful handbags. The search for a so-called sugar daddy is not a new phenomenon. This college student in California told France 24 last year that she would have to drop out of school without the additional income. Her date, meanwhile, said he had no problem paying for her company.
I'm looking for a mutual physical chemistry. The girl knows what she's getting into. You've already agreed upon a monetary amount that you both feel comfortable with. It's kind of like a lubricant. It just helps the interaction. It's an arrangement. It's a mutual arrangement.
For their part, the websites firmly deny that the meetings they arrange amount to prostitution.
We do not allow prostitution on the websites, but money in exchange within a relationship, just like a wealthy boyfriend spending money on his girlfriend, that's perfectly fine, and that's what this website is about.
Sugar daddy websites insist they're just helping people connect. They say they monitor profiles and discourage any talk of prostitution. What happens offline is no longer their responsibility.
These days, in many Western countries, the number of women without children at the age of 45 is nearly double that of their mother's generation. It's an extraordinary figure that continues to rise. Jodie Day is the founder of Gateway Women, an organisation that supports childless by circumstance women in Britain. She's also the author of Rocking the Life Unexpected, 12 weeks to your plan B for a meaningful and fulfilling life without children. And she joins me in the studio here today. Jodie, thanks for being with us. As I just said, the number of women in their 40s and without offspring is one of the fastest growing demographics, certainly in Britain. I think it's now nearly 1 in 4, but it's an issue that we still don't talk about it. Why is it such a taboo?
I think it's a taboo because it speaks maybe to a very deep human fear and a very old human fear of not having children and your line not continuing. So I think before women had sort of economic and social power, it was really the only way for a woman's life to kind of continue was to be a mother. So if a woman wasn't able to bear children, that she was seen as sort of something being wrong with her.
And you've become a voice for this community, haven't you? How did this all come about?
It wasn't the plan.
It wasn't your plan B?
Well, it is my plan B now, maybe my plan Z actually. But I wanted to be a mum. I started trying to conceive when I was 29, when I was married. Nothing happened. Had an operation to check everything was okay, still nothing happened. And then when my marriage broke up when I was 38, I still thought I had time to sort of meet someone else and do IVF, which is how I thought of it in my mind, but that didn't quite happen. And so at 43 and a half, I realised that for me it was game over and that I was childless as a permanent situation, not as on the way to being a mum.
What impact is this trend going to have on society, Jodie?
I think we're only just at the beginning of what that might be, because there are actually a great many positive things that could come from having so many more childless women in society. If you think about it, there's probably never been a time before when so many educated, liberated, independent women in their 40s and 50s are not bringing up children. So this could be, actually, if we come together, this could be an incredibly heart-centred, mobilised force in our culture at a time when, in a way, perhaps a little bit more heart-centred leadership might actually help to turn around some of the really difficult problems we've got today.
So how do we acknowledge the value of women with no children, not only in the workplace, but generally?
I think it's going to take a generation. When I look back to what the gay liberation movement has done in one generation, I mean, it used to be a capital crime in the UK, and then 2 weekends ago we had our first gay marriage in a British church. That is an extraordinary leap in one generation. I think the campaigning work that needs to be done to remove the stigma of childlessness, so that actually the next generation, the daughters of the next generation, even though they're not our daughters, can grow up in a more equal world and find their place.
Jodie, thanks for that. We're going to come back to you in a moment. Okay. But staying here in France, a recent survey by a polling company found only 55% of women declared themselves to be ambitious, as opposed to 65% of men. And for many of them, having children is still one of the reasons why.
A boss at 45. To get there, Delphine Maisonneuve had to climb almost every rung of the corporate ladder at this large insurance group. But the journey to the top was not without its setbacks for the ambitious mother of 4.
Even with a healthy self-esteem, you often wonder, am I capable? Or am I reaching for too much? It's when other people reinforce what you're doing that you start to feel your confidence grow.
Can I do it? 49% of women ask themselves this question, compared to only 35% of men. For many women, work and family is a juggling act, and the challenge to keep all the balls in the air has this group wondering if balancing the two worlds is indeed possible.
Does it hold you back?
Now, yes, my baby is still young.
6 out of 10 women say their careers will pay the price for their obligations at home. They say employers are not accommodating enough to women with families.
They pay more attention to the number of days you're actually present at work and not on results. However, most women need more flexibility in order to fulfill their ambitions.
But women are less vocal about their aspirations. Just 55% speak out about their ambitions, compared to 64% of men.
We focus on family and men on work.
Is it like that for you?
Yes, that's how it is, at least for me. It makes more sense.
It's a little old-fashioned, if anything.
Attitudes are slowly changing. For these women at a high-end consulting firm, staying home is not an option.
I've been working for the past 15 years now, although I admit I've never knocked on the boss's door and asked for the promotion that I've always wanted.
The struggle for equality in the workplace continues. Today, for the same job, women earn 25% less than men.
Jodie, talking about women in the workplace, a study of some 25,000 British women aged 28 to 40 found growing resentment among those in the workplace who had no children, that they felt very angry that they were being forced to work longer hours. What needs to be done to address such issues?
I think, first of all, it needs to be possible to actually talk about it. I think one of the reasons the anger builds up is because it's very difficult to have a conversation about this between women even. It's often seen as being unsisterly and unsupportive of your colleagues who are having children. And it's sort of, if you are hoping to be one of those women who has children one day, there's a certain kind of quid pro quo. But as the year goes on, if you remain childless not by choice or by choice, it starts to get a bit, hang on, this is all going one way. Yet when you try to raise the issue, it's often seen as a women's problem, when in actual fact it's actually a fairness problem in the workplace. I think now that we're working such longer hours and we're going to be working for many, many more years, I think fairness is becoming more of an issue. And childless people, men and women, want their lives outside work to be valued as parents are.
Jodie Day, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for being with us. And that's it for now. If you'd like to comment on what you've just seen, please head to our Facebook page, fransbankat/the51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far, and please keep those comments rolling in. Until our next program, bye for now.